Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk Pittston Area Softball. Vito Quaglia, the head coach, joining us right now. Well, Vito, you have the luxury of having some senior leadership this year on your team and then talent throughout between every class, it seems, there on your squad. But the competition is fierce in the Wyoming Valley Conference. You're going to go through the roller coaster ride like most of the area teams just because you guys are going to be up against stiff competition. But in the end, you're hoping the playoff run. You guys are playing well, playing hot at that time, and possibly make a run towards a district championship just like everybody else. But let's talk about those seniors this year for you, Vito. Really a group that's been together for years, and really they're doing a tremendous job with your group.
Yeah, our seniors right now are led by 4 starters who have been multi-year starters for us: Taylor Baloga, Mindina Lieback, Sllinskie, and Abbey Branigan. And they've been really solid kids, very good defensively, and especially this year, Sllinskie has been really doing a nice job in our lineup, helping us at the bottom of the order get some runs and flip that order around a little bit. So those kids have been kids that we've counted on in the program. And it's nice now with the younger kids coming up that they can kind of look at them as role models of how you conduct business and do things in a mature way. So it's nice to have that mix.
Not all students will end up being athletes at college, but you have a few that are committed to colleges, and then some that are thinking about it out of the senior group. They're saying, I still may play. I'm not 100% sure, but that's always nice to hear to say, hey, they're considering to try to pull off both if they could. But let's talk about, in particular, Taylor Baloga. I know she has her heart set on playing. Tell us about where she's headed.
She's going to Georgian Court, which is a D2 school in New Jersey. And she's, the coach talked to her, seen her play some travel ball too, things like that. She really liked it. It was a nice fit for her. I think she could really, help that program out early when she steps on campus. And honestly, the other 3, Mindina Lieback is another kid who can play at the next level. There's been some interest from, various colleges, but she's looking to go to Mansfield and possibly walk on there. And then the other 2, Abby and Julie, both again have the tools to play at the next level. And they're both going to Kings, and I know that they're that's on the table there. They're thinking about possibly playing at Kings too. But Taylor's definitely going to be committed to play at Georgian Court, and I think that's going to be tremendous for them because they're going to get a great kid who just when she comes to practice every day, she's there to work. She doesn't ever give anything less than 100%. She's a tremendous worker, and I really hope that the other 3 think about playing too because I think they can contribute also.
Meeting those girls in person at the radio station on Saturday, you can tell how they carry themselves, so mature, and you can tell they do the job in the classroom. That's always great when you have those student athletes. And unfortunately, kids a lot of times are in society's caught up in the negatives, but you got some student athletes at Pittston area, and I know your day job at Wyoming area that do great stuff, and it's great to see these young ladies following through and being leaders for you.
Absolutely. And again, just to hit on that a little bit, our rivalry game is the Pittston area Wyoming area game is something that's starting to take on a life of its own because the 2 programs, Wyoming area has been a quality softball program for a while now, but Pittston's starting to rise to that same level, and it's kind of bittersweet for me in that situation because I am the coach of one, principal of the other, but I'm always going to be on the winning side, and that's whoever wins. I have a vested interest with both sides, but it's fun to watch on both sides of that because I see the student athletes in both programs. I see the families they come from. They're quality kids on both sides, and it's really fun to watch both programs grow.
Vito, take us through some of the rest of the lineup, and again, the juniors, the sophomores, and the freshmen there, and your team. You have a little bit of everybody who could do something. So tell us a few young ladies that they're doing some positive stuff, and I know included in that mix is Taryn Ashby is a real nice talent for you too.
Oh, absolutely. Well, one thing that happened in the preseason this year, and I had told everybody, I said, look, we want to make sure that everyone's pushing each other daily at practice. You have that competition for starting roles. That's going to make us better. You're not going to have a role on the team or starting position just because, or you're a junior or a senior or anything like that. You're going to have to earn your spot every day. And that's starting to happen. I'm right now we're starting 3 freshmen, and they're starting because they're the best person at the position right now, not because, anything else. They've earned that spot. So, Taryn is a junior. She came, she was a in an all-star selection last year in a couple of the papers. She's a four-sport athlete. She plays basketball, soccer, track and field, and softball for us. So, she's held it down at that softball or shortstop for us, doing a real nice job. Last game, she just had she went 3 for 4 against Lehman, so she's doing a nice job for us. My daughter, actually, Dominique, she was a starting second baseman last year, and now she's kind of a role player, coming off the bench a little bit, doing some pinch hitting and things like that, because Sllinskie, a freshman, stepped up and just had a phenomenal early part of the season. Right now, I think she's still batting 600, or a little bit over 600 actually as a freshman. So she's tearing the cover off the ball. Only as a ninth grader, and she's doing a really nice job on the field too. And then you have Alexa McHugh, is a freshman starting in left field for us, and she's another pitcher in the program. And the one surprise, if there was any surprise with that class, was Bailey Lieback, who we were looking at as a backup catcher. But then when Mindina ended up having a little tendonitis in the preseason, Bailey stepped up and took over the catcher's role and really impressed us with her ability behind the plate defensively and also her arm. And so that gave us the freedom to put Mindina back in center field where she was the starter last year. So you have that. Then you have Nina Cincetti, who was the starter last year. She's a sophomore. She's still starting. She's a pitcher and a first baseman. And then there are other kids mixing in there too. And everyone's improving, whether it's Shelby Gardner, Jordan Segelka, Mackenzie Gable, Terry Shamnosky. Those kids, they're just a tiny bit, and they would be starting. It's just that I have 16 kids on the team, and everybody can play. That's where the program is right now. And then you have Shayla Williams, who's another freshman, who leads the team in stolen bases. So everybody's contributing in some way, and that's what's making us successful.
And, Coach, you bring up that point of so many players pushing each other and trying to make that lineup right, and you're doing your best, obviously, to get the best players out there on the field, but you have a good problem every day after school to kind of be around these girls and say, man, we're pushing each other, we're making ourselves better, and in the end, you're hoping it's a special season.
Yeah, definitely. And you alluded to it a little earlier. The AAA, all of the Wyoming Valley Conference, but especially AAA, there's so many talented teams. There's so much, the kids, all the girls from around here, you can see that they all work. They work in the off season, whether it's weight training or going to pitching coaches or hitting coaches, things like that. Any team you play, they can all hit, whether it's, Tunkhannock with their 5 freshmen they're starting, or Nanticoke's always the power Wyoming area, Berwick, Hazelton, you turn around and anyone can beat anyone. And that's the kind of season I think is going to be, where you're just going to have to be hot at the right time and hopefully playing error-free and injury-free in May and make a run. But it's fun to watch all of the programs grow. And I think the best softball in the state is really being played in northeastern Pennsylvania. I think most of the other coaches would probably echo that.
Yeah, absolutely. Pittston area softball team, the Lady Patriots, having a tremendous year, and these freshmen really coming on to the scene, because there's great girls in the sophomore, junior, and senior class there at PA, but should be interesting. Vito, I want to thank you for your time. We wish you the very best the remainder of the season.
Thank you very much, Sean. Thanks for having us.
Lady Patriots from Pittston area here on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.